Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise and really get to the core of what makes people tick, especially those who achieve, well, incredible things.
And today we're doing just that. We're tackling a big one, mastery. Specifically, we're digging into Robert Greene's book, Mastery.
Right. We've got a couple of really detailed sources, a professional summary, and a whole list of takeaways from a pretty active discussion group. Our mission, synthesize it all.
Exactly. Greene looked at historical heavyweights, Da Vinci, Darwin, Franklin, you name them, and he basically reverse engineered their paths. What skills, what mindset, what experiences led them to become masters?
Okay, but let's address the elephant in the room first. That word, mastery. It sounds intimidating, maybe even unattainable for most people. How does Greene actually define it?
He brings it down to earth, actually. It's not some mystical state. He describes mastery as feeling in full control, control of yourself, your surroundings, your specific field. It's when skills become second nature, almost instinctual.
And the reward isn't just like being good at something.
No, it's bigger. It's about finding that sweet spot. Financial success,
Yeah.
sure, but also real deep fulfillment because you're doing work that feels fundamentally you.
Okay, that's compelling. And the really interesting part is that Greene argues it's not about innate genius. He says it's a system.
A system, yeah. Nurturable. He breaks it down into three main phases. Apprenticeship first, then creative active, and finally, mastery itself.
Simple enough phases, but what's the catch? The time commitment.
Well, yeah. Let's be upfront about that. Greene's research points to needing at least 10,000 hours of intense practice.
The classic 10,000-hour rule.
Kind of, but maybe even more. Historically, he suggests this often translates to something like 15, maybe 20 years.
Wow, 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
In today's world, that feels like an eternity. Does he, talk about whether that time frame is still relevant, or is it just the price of admission?
He kind of argues that, yeah, the depth takes time. You can't really shortcut gaining true intuition or deep pattern recognition that comes from lived experience within the field.
So no quick acts.
Not for true mastery, no. But, and this is key, what can change the feeling of that time is the intensity and, crucially, the alignment of the practice. If you're deeply connected to the work, those hours feel different. They're engaging, not just a grind.
Which leads perfectly into the first absolutely critical step. Greene outlines, finding what he calls your life's task.
Yes, you absolutely have to start there. It's about internal alignment. Greene believes everyone has this kind of inner force, a pull towards certain things. You often see it clearly in childhood. Kids get obsessed with dinosaurs or drawing or taking things apart.
That innate curiosity.
Exactly. But then what happens?
Life happens. School, parents, jobs.
Right. As we get older, social pressures kick in. The need for money, status, maybe pleasing your parents or fitting in. And that inner voice, that inclination, it gets muffled. We start making choices based on external factors, not internal calling.
And that disconnect makes the long haul impossible.
Pretty much. The work feels wrong, learning is a chore, you burn out. So, step one is non-negotiable. You must look inward. Reconnect with those early sparks. Understand who you really are and what kind of work truly calls to you.
It's about self-discovery before skill acquisition.
And Greene doesn't just say find your passion. He gives actual strategies, like the Darwinian strategy. It's interesting. It suggests your career isn't one fixed thing.
Okay.
It's more like evolution. You adapt. You might try different jobs, different fields even, constantly learning, seeing what fits, and moving towards opportunities where your interests can really deepen and combine.
So it's okay to not know the exact endpoint right away. You sort of feel your way towards it.
That's the idea. You're like an explorer, adapting your path based on what you discover about yourself and the world. And when you find that alignment, the work itself fuels you. Learning speeds up. You get that spark back, that childlike wonder he talks about.
You need that fuel for the next phase.
You absolutely do, because that's the long grind, the ideal apprenticeship.
Right, the apprenticeship. This is where the real work starts, building the foundation.
Yeah.
How long are we talking here?
Typically, Greene suggests this phase lasts about 5 to 10 years. And it's transformative. The goal here isn't the corner office or the big paycheck, not yet anyway.
So what is the goal?
It's about fundamentally reshaping your mind and your character. It's deep skill acquisition, yes, but also about cultivating the right attitude.
Okay, attitude. What does that look like practically?
Total immersion, basically.
Yeah.
You commit to years of just observing, learning skills patiently, experimenting, and maybe the hardest part, humility.
Embracing inferiority is one of the takeaways put it.
Yeah, that's a stark way to phrase it, but it's accurate. You need deep humility and eagerness to learn from everyone, especially people who make you feel a bit dumb or inadequate. They're often your best teachers at this stage.
That definitely requires checking your ego at the door.
Oh,
Sounds uncomfortable.
it is, and Greene emphasizes that. You have to actively move towards resistance and pain.
What does that mean? Seek out failure.
Not necessarily failure, but difficulty. Let go of the need for comfort, for things to be easy. Push through the boring, tedious parts of learning a skill because every field has them. That initial slog is where most people give up. You have to push past that threshold.
The Darwin example you mentioned earlier really highlights this, doesn't it? The Beagle voyage.
Absolutely. Think about it. Almost 5 years on a ship. He wasn't hired as the naturalist initially, just a companion. But he took on the incredibly hard work of collecting, documenting, preserving thousands upon thousands of specimens.
In rough conditions, seasick.
Exactly. Remote places, physical labor, logistical nightmares. It wasn't cozy research in a library. He was out there hands-on, facing constant challenges. That intense, self-directed struggle against difficulty is what transformed him.
From a directionless student into a dedicated scientist.
Precisely. That adversity, that resistance, forged his commitment and sparked the insights that led to his life's work. It wasn't comfortable, but it was necessary.
Which really underscores the value of a mentor during this phase,
Yeah.
right? Someone to guide you through that pain.
Oh, definitely. A good mentor can drastically speed things up. They offer tailored advice, point out your blind spots, save you from common pitfalls. Self-learning is possible, but mentorship provides a huge shortcut.
But there's a warning attached to that, isn't
A
there?
critical one. Mentors are invaluable, but they are stepping stones. You learn from them, internalize their knowledge, their way of thinking, but then you have to move on.
Why? Out of respect or...
To avoid getting stuck in their shadow. The goal isn't to become a clone of your mentor. It's to absorb what they offer and then synthesize it into your own unique approach. Ultimately, the apprentice needs to surpass the master. You can't do that if you stay tethered.
Okay, so you've found your calling, you've endured the apprenticeship, maybe with a mentor's help, you've built the technical skills. But that's not the whole picture, is it?
Not even close. This is where many technically brilliant people hit a ceiling. Greene argues that what truly separates masters isn't just intellectual power, it's an emotional component, social intelligence.
Social intelligence. That sounds like just, being good with people, networking.
It's deeper than networking, which can often be superficial or transactional. Greene frames it as practical psychology. It's the ability to see people clearly as they actually are.
What do you mean, as they actually are?
Without projecting your own hopes, fears, biases, or insecurities onto them. It's about understanding human nature, both reading specific individuals and recognizing timeless patterns of behavior. Masters get the game of human interaction, even if they choose not to play certain manipulative aspects of it.
That sounds difficult. How do you cultivate that kind of objective observation without being judgmental?
It takes conscious effort and a lot of self-awareness. It really boils down to a kind of empathetic detachment. 2 key things here.
Okay.
First, really develop empathy. Try to genuinely understand why people act the way they do from their perspective, not just judging the action itself.
See their motivation.
Right. And second, actively work to suspend judgment. When someone criticizes you or acts defensively, instead of reacting emotionally, just observe. See the behavior as information. Why are they saying this? What insecurity might be driving it? This detachment stops you from making it all about you.
That frees up a lot of mental energy, I imagine. Not getting sucked into drama.
Exactly. And connected to that is filtering feedback. This was a great point from the sources.
Ah, yes. Suffer fools gladly.
Yeah. Basically, know who to listen to. Masters don't take criticism to heart from people who, frankly, don't know what they're talking about or who might be motivated by envy or their own issues. Understanding the source of the feedback is crucial.
Which all ties back to managing the biggest internal obstacle, the ego.
The ego is lethal to mastery. Greene is very clear on this. He warns about the big vices, getting self-obsessed, feeling grandiose after some success, becoming rigid and inflexible.
Complacency.
Complacency is maybe the most dangerous. You achieve something and the ego whispers, "You've arrived. You can stop learning, stop adapting." That's the kiss of death for continued growth.
So constant self-correction is needed. How do you do that? Try to see yourself objectively.
That's the goal, like trying to see yourself as others see you without the emotional baggage. It allows you to identify flaws and work on them without defensiveness. The qualities that enable humility, persistence, focus, discipline, adaptability, They're the direct opposite of those ego traps.
So becoming a master is as much about shedding negative traits as gaining skills.
Absolutely. It's about shedding that fragile, reactive, self-important persona.
Okay, so after navigating the social landscape and taming the ego, you move from the intense learning of apprenticeship into phase two, the creative active period. What shifts here?
The mindset shifts dramatically. You move from student to practitioner, but a bold one. It's time to stop just following the rules you learned and start, well, testing them, bending them, even breaking them.
So you use the foundation you built to experiment.
Exactly. You become more confident, more willing to connect ideas that seem unrelated, ideas maybe gathered during that broad apprenticeship phase. You actively challenge the established ways of doing things in your field.
This sounds like the path to innovation. And this leads to what Greene calls the dimensional mind. Can you unpack that a bit? It sounds intriguing.
It really is. The dimensional mind is about synthesis. It's combining the discipline, the structure, the logic you painstakingly built during apprenticeship with the complete opposite. The openness, the curiosity, the imaginative freedom of a child.
So structure meets chaos. Discipline play.
That's a great way to put it. You have to consciously tap back into that childlike wonder. Drop your assumptions. Question everything. Masters tend to love learning just for the sake of it, pulling ideas from totally different fields, art, science, history, whatever.
Why? What's the benefit of pulling from random fields?
Because innovation often happens at the intersections. You take a concept that's normal in one area and apply it to another where it's completely novel. That synthesis creates something new.
So you have to stay open, constantly absorbing, even ideas that seem weird or unpopular.
Absolutely. Resisting the pull of conventional thinking is key. If you just follow the crowd intellectually, you'll never break new ground.
And if you sustain that level of combined discipline and openness for the full, say, 15 or 20 years.
Then you reach phase 3, final mastery. Greene describes this as something beyond just skill. It's like a higher intelligence, almost a sixth sense for your field. You grasp the intangibles, you can anticipate trends.
How is that different from just being really experienced and making good predictions?
It seems to be deeper than rational deduction. It's more like instinct, but an instinct built on tens of thousands of hours of focused experience. The examples help here.
Like Bobby Fischer in chess.
Right. Masters like Fischer aren't just calculating branching possibilities faster. They see the forces on the board, the flow of the game. They anticipate moves almost intuitively because their brains have internalized countless patterns. It's pattern recognition on a massive subconscious scale.
Or Einstein visualizing the universe.
Exactly. He had the mental image, the intuitive grasp before he could even work out all the complex math to prove it. That's the dimensional mind at its absolute peak, blending the rational, structured knowledge with that immediate, holistic intuition. They just see the underlying reality of the system.
Okay, let's pull back then. If we synthesize all this for someone listening today, what's the big takeaway?
I think the most empowering takeaway is that mastery, real mastery, isn't reserved for geniuses or the uniquely talented. Greene argues it's attainable by anyone willing to commit the focus and the time to a field they feel called to.
So it's democratic in a way, but demanding.
Very demanding. It requires that constant forward motion. Find your calling, practice with humility and intensity, develop social awareness, manage your ego, and then use that foundation to creatively push boundaries. And you have to respect the time it takes.
Yeah, always remember that key point. You can't buy mastery. You can't inherit it. You can't rush it.
Nope. It has to be earned through the work itself. That's why it commands genuine respect.
It really does. Which brings us to maybe one of the most profound mindset shifts Greene suggests for anyone on this path. He says true masters learn to speak through their work.
They don't need to boast or argue. They're patient. They let the quality, the impact, the sheer reality of what they've created or accomplished do the talking.
That really ties back to escaping the need for external validation, doesn't it?
Completely. The work becomes its own validation.
So let's leave our listeners with a thought to chew on, building on that idea. We challenge you. Where is your energy focused right now? Are you spending valuable time telling people about your goals, your ambitions, what you plan to do? Or are you quietly, diligently focusing on cultivating the deep work, the actual skills, the tangible results that will eventually speak far louder than any words could? Something to think about. Until next time on The Deep Dive.